From the moment humans carved their first temples, serpentine forms coiled through the stone. At Göbekli Tepe, 11,000 years old, long before writing, there are carved reliefs of snakes and scaled creatures. In the floodplains of Mesopotamia, myth told of Ningishzida, lord of the good tree, a serpent-bodied deity who guarded the gates of the underworld. Across the ocean, in Olmec and Mayan ruins, feathered serpents slithered across pyramids, Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, gods of knowledge, storms, and the balance of sky and earth. These were not incidental carvings. They dominated walls, lintels, and altars, elevated to the highest symbolic status. Why did so many cultures, separated by oceans and time, conjure reptile-like gods of wisdom and rule? Again and again, serpent or reptilian forms stood as guardians, between life and death, mortal and divine, earth and underworld. The Egyptians gave us Wadjet, the cobra goddess, coiled on the crowns of pharaohs, her gaze striking enemies dead. In Hindu tradition, Nagas slumber in rivers and caves, protecting treasures, ruling underworld palaces. In the Greek imagination, Ladon was the multi-headed dragon who guarded the golden apples of immortality. Thresholds, gates, liminality. These were reptilian domains. Human storytellers gave them the watch over what we feared most, entrances to power and endings we could not control. Not all reptilian figures lurked at thresholds. Some sat on thrones. The Aztec chronicles spoke of Quetzalcoatl as both god and king, a bringer of maize and calendar time. Chinese emperors claimed descent from dragons, their banners unfurling scaled forms as emblems of absolute rule. In medieval Europe, the dragon became a tyrant in stories, one that hoarded gold, devoured maidens, demanded sacrifice. Rule, treasure, domination, wisdom, all twined together in reptilian bodies. The association was too persistent to ignore, scales and crowns fused into one archetype. There is another side. The serpent as teacher of knowledge. In Genesis, the serpent tempts humanity with forbidden wisdom. In Mayan myths, Kukulkan brings the measure of time and the arts of civilization. In Australian Aboriginal stories, the rainbow serpent shapes rivers and teaches the first laws. This motif is not one of terror, but of awakening. To touch scales is to gain knowledge that changes you, for better or worse. Perhaps this is why the image endures, because reptiles symbolize the lesson we were not ready to learn but could never ignore. So many serpents, scaled kings, guardians, and teachers spread across continents with no direct contact. Did humans simply project a universal fear of reptiles? Or were there deeper encounters? The idea of a Draco empire, whispered in modern conspiracies, leans on this pattern. Perhaps these were not only myths, but fragmented memories of something older, something scaled and intelligent that shaped our ancestors' stories. Whether psychological archetype or cultural echo, the reptilian image lingers. It is in crowns and scriptures, in carved stone and whispered fear. The question is not why humans imagined reptiles, but why we never stopped. In Polynesian myth, Tangaroa rules the depths, a god of sea serpents and shifting tides. In Norse legend, Jörmungandr coils beneath the ocean, its body encircling the world until the day of its release, Ragnarok. From the Pacific to the Arctic, the image repeats, immense scaled bodies hidden in fathomless waters. The sea is the most alien landscape humans have ever known, and reptiles, already half aquatic, became its avatars. We looked at the unknown and gave it scales. Reptilian forms are not always gods of wisdom. Sometimes they are the very embodiment of hunger. Aztec rituals spoke of Quetzalcoatl, a primordial crocodile whose insatiable appetite demanded blood. In Babylonian myth, Tiamat, the chaos dragon, was slain by Marduk, her body split into heaven and earth. Sacrifice, violence, the spilling of life into scaled jaws. These myths cast reptiles as the mouth of entropy, the abyss we struggle against. Not all reptilian myths are ancient. In modern folklore, whispers speak of shapeshifters, reptilian figures hiding beneath human skin, taking roles of power. The conspiracy extends across parliaments and palaces, not gods carved in stone, but secret rulers in tailored suits. Whether seen as allegory for the coldness of political elites or as literal infiltration, the pattern survives. The Draco Empire in this frame is not dead. It is disguised. Perhaps the persistence of serpent myths comes not from contact, but from deep in our own brains. Neurologists note the reptilian complex, the oldest part of our neuroanatomy, governing instinct and aggression. Anthropologists point out that early humans evolved side by side with snakes and crocodiles, learning to fear their stealth. In this view, the Draco are not external beings, but reflections of the oldest predators encoded in our survival memory. The final question lingers. Did all these stories arise independently, or were they fragments of a shared encounter, an echo of something scaled and intelligent that crossed our ancestors' path? Whether Draco Empire, archetype, or metaphor, the reptile persists in our deepest tales. The serpent is wisdom and terror, ruler and destroyer, teacher and betrayer. Myths endure when they hold truth, whether that truth is historical or psychological. Perhaps the serpents are both. Perhaps we remember more than we know. In many traditions, reptiles are not destroyers, but creators. The Aboriginal rainbow serpent carved rivers into dry earth, leaving life in its wake. In Hindu cosmology, the universe itself rests upon Ananta Shisha, the endless serpent. For the Maya, Xiuhpactli's dismembered body gave rise to the ordered world. Creation required scales, coils, and sacrifice, the shedding of old skins into something new. Across cultures, reptiles are linked not only to death, but also to medicine. The Greek god Asclepius carried a serpent staff, symbol of healing still used today in medical emblems. In African traditions, serpent spirits bring both illness and cure, their venom a double-edged gift. To master the serpent was to hold both life and death in your hands, to heal with one fang, to kill with the other. Wherever empires rose, myths cast the serpent as their greatest enemy. In Zoroastrian legend, Ajidahaka, a monstrous dragon, was a figure of tyranny and chaos, chained by heroes. In Christian imagery, the serpent becomes Satan himself, adversary of God's order. Again and again, human culture places its ultimate foe in scaled flesh. The Draco, in this framing, are not teachers, but rebels against light. Psychologists note that serpents are among the most common dream figures across cultures. They slither through the unconscious as symbols of danger, sexuality, hidden power, or transformation. Carl Jung saw them as archetypes of renewal, the Ouroboros swallowing its own tail. If myths are shared dreams, then perhaps humanity has been dreaming of the Draco all along, each dream a fragment of a larger story. In modern times, whispers grow louder. Prophecies of serpent beings returning at the end of an age. Some claim they already walk among us, waiting for their empire to rise again. Others see them as metaphors for the cycles of collapse and renewal. Civilizations shedding skins like snakes. The myth is not dead. It coils in our politics, our media, our imaginations. If the serpent returns, it will not be from the stars or seas alone. It will be from the deepest parts of ourselves. From Angkor Wat to the temples of India, serpents wind across lintels and staircases. In Europe, dragons slither through illuminated manuscripts, each scale painted with gold leaf. Indigenous American pottery hides serpentine coils in patterns of zigzag and spiral. Even when words fail, images endure. Stone and pigment remember what we no longer speak aloud. In apocalyptic visions, serpents reappear at the turning of ages. Revelations speak of the great red dragon sweeping stars from the sky. In Andean prophecy, Amaru, the two-headed serpent, signals cycles of death and rebirth. Oracles describe scales, fire, and skyborn serpents arriving when civilizations falter. These were not casual creatures. They were markers of endings. Secret societies have long borrowed serpent symbols. The Ouroboros winds through alchemical treatises. The caduceus twines across esoteric lodges. Even in heraldry, scaled beasts linger behind noble lines. Conspiracy theorists claim these are not metaphors, but encoded allegiances. A memory of Draco rulers hidden within human orders. Whether true or not, the imagery is deliberate, power veiled in scales. Astronomers of old traced serpents into constellations. Hydra, the longest star snake, winds invisibly across the heavens. Draco coils around the pole, eternal guardian of the north sky. To look upward was to see scales writ across eternity, watching silently as generations passed. If myths are maps, then perhaps the sky itself is their archive. After thousands of years, one question lingers. Are serpent myths fragments of human imagination, or faint recollections of encounters long forgotten? The Draco Empire, if ever it was, might exist only in our stories, but stories endure longer than empires. Whether serpent gods, cosmic engineers, or archetypes of the mind, they remain. Humanity cannot let them go, because perhaps, in some way, they cannot let go of us.